I am Pastor Dr. Louise Forshe, learning to write Spanish. We are going to learn about apostrophe S, ownership. In Spanish, there is no ownership. Soy Pastor Dr. Louisa Forshe, aprendiendo a escribir español. Somos aprende sobre apostrophe S. Propiedad en español no hay propiedad. Ejemplo. Example. Number 1, uno. One. God's love. English is God's love. In Spanish, no puede hablamos. La alma de Dios. And what you do is turn it around. La alma is love. The love. De Dios is God. So you're saying, we say in English, God's love. In Spanish is la alma de Dios. We have to learn how to turn it around in Spanish. Number 2, David's son is showing ownership. David's son. No podemos hablamos. La hijo de David. You're saying the son of David. Tres, number 3. This is my father's hat. It belongs to the father. So you put the apostrophe with the father. You say Father apostrophe S, showing ownership. Okay, who's the hat belongs to? The hat belongs to the father. But in Español, no podemos hablamos. Este es gorro de mi padre. Este es gorro de mi padre. And what you're saying, this is the hat of my father. What you really are saying is Esther es el gorro, because you have to put the stem on it. Esther es el gorro de mi padre. So you're saying this is the hat of my father. Number 4, God's mercy. G-O-D apostrophe S, mercy. Who does the mercy belong, showing ownership to, is God. In Spanish, Español, no podemos hablamos. El misericordia de Dios. What you're saying is the mercy of God. El misericordia is the mercy. Dios is God. So what you're saying, you turn it around and you say, El misericordia de Dios. 5, God's grace. It's showing ownership. It belongs to God. So you put apostrophe S. In Español, no podemos hablamos. El García de Dios. That's La García de Dios. It's La García de Dios because Garcia has an A at the end, so you would use La and not L. So it's La García de Dios. Okay, go to the web. Go to the website of Pastor Dr. Louise Forshe. Web, Pastor Dr. Louise Forshe. Forshe. But first I will pronounce some of the words for you. You will have to put the phrase. If it's in English, put it in Spanish. If it's in Spanish, you have to put it in English. And they're different. Number 1, God's family. 2, Peter's house. Number 1, God's family. Number 1, God's family. Number 1, God's family. Number 1, God's family. Number 2, Peter's house. Number 2, Peter's house. Number 2, Peter's house. Number 3, Jesus cross. Jesus cross. Jesus cross. Jesus cross. Number 4, Mary's ring. Mary's ring. Mary's ring. Number 5, John's office. John's office. John's office. John's office. Number 6, Paul's book. Paul's books. Number 7, Moses' school. Moses' school. Moses' school. Number 8, Hannah's son. Hannah's son. And here are some of the words you will use in Spanish. God Dios. Day of. God Dios. Number 1, God Dios. God in Spanish is Dios. God means Dios. Mary in English, Maria in Spanish. Mary in English, Maria in Spanish. Peter in English, Peter, and Pero in Spanish. Peter in English, Pero in Spanish. Family. In English, La Familia in Spanish. Family in English, La Familia in Spanish. Family in English, La Familia in Spanish. House in English, La Casa. House in English, La Casa. House in English, La Casa. Cross, El Cruz. Cross, El Cruz. Cross, El Cruz. Ring is El Anillo. Ring is El Anillo. Ring is El Anillo. John in English, John is Juan. John in English, Spanish is Juan. John in English, Juan in Spanish. Pablo. 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 Pablo in Spanish. Paul in English. Pablo. Paul in English. Book. 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 In English, El Libro. In Spanish, book. In English, El Libro. Book. El Libro. Book. El Libro. Hannah. 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 Anna. 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 Hannah. 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 Anna. 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 Son. In English, hijo. In Spanish. Son in English, hijo. In Spanish. Office in English, oficina. In Spanish, that's la oficina. Office in English, la oficina. In Spanish, office in English, la oficina. In Spanish. Okay. Computer. Computer in English, computador. And you have to put the stem in front of it, so you would say el computador. El computador. El computador. Robert in English, Roberto. Robert in English, Roberto. Robert in English, Roberto. Number 3, Esther. 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 In English, it means this, this, this. Is, S. Is in English, S in Spanish. Is in English, S in Spanish. Padre, madre, madre, madre. Madre is in Spanish, so you have to put the stem in front of it. So you say la madre, because sometimes I'm doing it like this because sometimes people do have problems forgetting to the la. So it's la madre, which means mother, and padre, which is el padre, which means father. Mateo in Spanish, Mateo in Spanish. Matthews in English. El Gunos, which means in English some. And then candy, like the candy we eat, is El Dulce. El Dulce really means sweet, but the proper name for candy, which you don't see a lot, you see El Dulce because it's sweet, but the proper name is El Carmelo. Tubo, T-U-B-O, but remember the V sounds like a B in English. The B in English has the sound of the V in Spanish. So it's tubo, which means he had. Number Santiago means James. Louisa means Louise. Blusa means blouse. So you got to put the la in front of it. I'm doing it like that to remind you. So it would be la blusa. You got to remember that. La goes in, you got to use the stem. La blusa. And it's so easy when you speak English because we don't use the stem and we go blusa. But it's la blusa. El maestro, the teacher. El maestro is teacher. El maestro, teacher. La pluma is pen. The pen we write with, P-E-N, pen. La pluma, you got to put the la in front of it because it's female, so it ends in A, so it's la pluma. Don't forget that. We went over that. The last one I'm going to give you is a key, which means here. Okay, go to the website, Pastor Dr. Louise Forshe, Baal Web, Pastora Dr. Louise Forshe, but it's Pastor Dr. Louise Forshe. Okay? Dios te bendiga más. God bless you more.